Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast. I don't know. I always kind of like that greeting. What's his name? If you ever seen Truman Show, used to say that. Kind of makes sense too. Like if you're making a video or a podcast, because you never know what time the listener or the viewer is watching it. I'm flying solo today. Sammy's at work, bringing home some bacon. I usually like to start the podcast with a little update on what's going on in my life. Basically, my plans on getting an apartment have been halted again. Transmission went out on my wife's Cadillac, so I had to put down $1,700 to fix that. Went to go pick it up yesterday, and basically, I got in the car. Couldn't take it above about 35, 40 miles an hour without the whole car shaking. So I had to take it back. By the time I got it back to the shop, no one was there, so I had to wait on a ride. And yeah, I'm a little irritated because I've been saving up, and me and Sammy keep getting like literally an inch away from having the set amount of money that we've been trying to save. So that way we can get an apartment and like securely get an apartment and be secure financially without stressing or worrying so much like we have been. I sound like a broken record, but me and Sammy have been struggling for like 3 years. I got out of bartending. My therapist wanted me to get out of it. Basically became a friend of Bill and was just trying to get out of bartending. And sadly, sobriety is not cheap, but bartending is, you can make bank off bartending. But it's one or the other. It's either I'm going to bartend and live that life, have an early grave, or I'm going to be clean and not make as much money. It's one or the other. It can't be both, it seems like. So, but yeah, I keep telling y'all that we're almost there. We're going to get an apartment soon. And right now where I'm at, we don't have internet. So I've been honestly catching up on conspiracies and what's going on basically at work. On break at work, and trying to catch up as much as possible because they got Wi-Fi there. So I don't want you guys thinking since I've started this podcast that, oh, Abe sold out, he's only covering paranormal and stuff like that, and sea monsters and Loch Ness Monster, and he's not covering the heavy conspiracies anymore, like Pizzagate or anything like that. I want to cover that because there's a lot going on right now with apparently house arrest of Ellen DeGeneres, Tom Hanks. Someone said Tom Hanks might be dead. I don't know. It's getting crazy, but I don't have the internet to properly do the research right now. So, sadly, those more important conspiracies I can't put out, which is a shame because I don't know. With me, I like to do, when I put out videos, I try to put out like important conspiracy stuff that's going on, to get that information out there. That's my first and foremost like mission in life, to make the people aware of what's going on and get that info out there. And you can take it and act on it however you see fit. But yeah, I can't I can't really do that if I don't have internet to research what's going on. So it's kind of hard. So honestly, I've been covering lighter stuff like paranormal and stuff like that. But I hope you guys enjoy this stuff too. Today, I wanted to do a podcast on basically an old house that my mom lives in, and I lived in it in high school. We moved up here probably, I would say, about 15 years maybe. I might be adding years or subtracting years, but I think it's probably been about 12, 13, 14, 15, somewhere around there. I'm bad with dates, but we moved up here from Florida to Kentucky, and we moved to basically Garrett County. I'm not going to give the name of the city just for safety of my mom. You never know with people. People are crazy. But yeah, Garrett County, Kentucky. And we moved into this old house. They used to have a stockyard. I remember first moving there, me and my brother Luke were like culture shocked. We're like, man, we moved from Florida, which is very like multicultural, and then we moved to like bumfuck Egypt, to where it's just all rednecks and barely any people, and we moved right behind literally a stockyard, so like it just smelled like shit 24/7. Pardon my French, but just smelled like cow shit 24/7. Was super noisy with cows mooing and shit, and me and him just looked at each other like, what the fuck are we doing here? But my mom and my dad, they were together at the time. We all moved into this big old 2-story house that was really, really old. The ceilings on it used to be taller, but were lowered. Honestly, when we moved in, the house was kind of trashed looking. Like, some of the rooms didn't have carpet. It was just plywood. But my mom and my dad were like, we're gonna fix it up, and anyone who personally knows me knows about the Williams family, and we're pretty much renowned for, our family is renowned for traveling around and basically building houses from scratch. Now those houses might not be beautiful and perfect and 100% quality carpentry, but kind of like hillbilly puzzle pieces. So we learned a little bit about the history of the house when we first moved in, that apparently it used to be, way back in the day, it used to be kind of like a little miniature hospital, but it specialized in childbirth. And it was run by like this Indian doctor. Now it is Kentucky, so a lot of people still say Indian instead of Native American, so I'm not sure if it was Native American or Indian, literally Indian the race. There used to be a Family Guy joke. Lois said something about Indian, and she put her fingers behind her head like a feather, or Indian, and then she put her finger on her forehead like a dot. Just one of those Family Guy jokes. But yeah, so I mean, there is the possibility, and I say this with an open mind. I'm not saying that it happened there, but there is a possibility that it could have been used for abortions or emergency abortions, like perhaps babies dying at birth, the mother's dying. So I'm pretty sure that several people probably died there. So I'm honestly going to go through, I have a bunch of different stories just with this house. I'm going to go through and just kind of tell different ghost experiences and ghost stuff and see what you guys think. I'll start a little bit with my brother. My little brother got into ghost hunting for a little bit in high school, just kind of amateur ghost hunting. Him and his buddies used to go to the graveyard, which the house we lived in, the graveyard was literally walking distance. And it's a huge graveyard. I actually made a ghost hunting video on that graveyard. It's me and Sammy, we were ghost hunting the Lancaster Cemetery for basically a crying ghost girl who kneels at a grave there and cries. So if you're into ghost hunting, you can go ahead and check that out. It's in a playlist, a ghost hunting playlist. So go ahead and check that out, and check out any other ghost hunting videos that I got up. Um, but yeah, so he got into like amateur ghost hunting a little bit, and he did some ghost hunting um, in his room because he swore up and down that it was haunted, and I believe him, definitely. At the time I was kind of a dick and I was kind of skeptical and making fun of him, but honestly I still remain skeptic. I try to keep an open mind, but at the same time I'm very skeptical, um, which I think is needed in the ghost hunting world. I think that there's too many ghost hunters who believe every single thing they hear, or they think every single knock or every single noise is, oh, it's a demon, it's a ghost, and it's like, I don't know. I think honestly, a scientific skeptical point of view, there's nothing wrong with that. Um, but so he had like an audio recording, and I wish that he kept it so I could play it. But he was asking questions and getting knock responses and stuff. But it wasn't nothing like amazing, but it was coherent knocks in response to questions. Now I'm not saying I believe it 100%. Maybe I'll have him on this podcast because I want to ask him. I want to do an interview with him in general. But Luke, if you're listening, uh, been trying to do an interview with you for like a year, maybe 2 years now. You butthole. So respond. But I mean, because honestly, that can be faked. I could do. Here, let me give you an example and show you. Is anything in this room right now? It's an audio recording. There's no visual recording to it. Right there, I could have just faked it. But my room was literally connected. There was to his room. It was like a wall, obviously, between our rooms. But mine was on the other side of his room, so we were neighbors. And my room was kind of weird. Like it had a bathroom connected with it, like a super tiny bathroom with a toilet, a sink, and a walk-in shower. So no tub. And I used to get real weird vibes from the bathroom. And honestly, the door, like I used to keep it shut all the time, but there was times that it would open by itself. There was times the knob would jiggle, and it just used to freak me the fuck out. I hated it. But one night I was laying in bed, and I don't know, just had this real weird feeling about the bathroom. And I kept hearing noises in there, like someone was walking around or standing by the door. I'm getting cold chills just telling about it. And of course, I'm recording this while I'm all alone in a haunted house as we speak. I'll have to make a video on that, kind of show you where I'm living at, and maybe do a little ghost hunting here, because the house we live in is haunted right now, supposedly. But yeah, it just felt like there was someone in that room, and I could hear footsteps like moving around, shuffling. And next thing I know, I hear this big bang, and I could hear like the crinkle of a bag like this, and like a bang. Basically, I could tell something had thrown a little trash bag I had in the bathroom across the room. Um, so I didn't fuck with it, man. I was just like, fuck this, I'm going to bed. Finally, I went to sleep, and the next morning I went in there and opened up the door, and the little trash can was thrown across the room. Now, mind you, this room is not huge. It was only like a 6x6 room, 7x7 room. I mean, you couldn't even really lay down on the floor of it. That's how little this room was. But still, you know, a trash can going 6 feet, that's pretty strong of a force. And that ain't no wind. That ain't no trash can just falling over. I mean, that's pretty crazy. You'll have to excuse me. I'm putting medicine on my tooth. My teeth are going bad. And fucking hurts, man. But that was one story that was crazy. Now, my room was probably one of the most haunted rooms in that house. My little brother, he always gets creeped out staying over my house and shit, because he literally has told me, like, every house I live in is like, the energy is like super strong. And I told him, I said, yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. Me and Sammy go ghost hunting. I collect occult items. I do witchcraft here and there. I'm always studying the occult. Like, how did you think my house would feel, you know? And then my older brother, he's actually described my house as like, he feels like it's like a rift in time. He's come over before and been like, man, every time I come over, like, I settle in and I lose track of time. I feel like there's like no time in your house, like, which I kind of like that. I took that as a compliment. I was like, you know, that's honestly how I enjoy it. That's how I tried to make my house feel like timeless, you know, like you don't want to leave, like it's just stuck in eternity, you know. Um, But the room that I lived in was like probably one of the hot spots of the old house that we were living in. Um, Me and my little brother, Luke is his name, and me and Luke had a band. He was the drummer and I was the lead vocalist. I played bass here and there, but I don't know, for anyone who sings and plays an instrument, it's kind of hard to sing and play an instrument at the same time. Like, I feel like you're either focusing on one more than the other, so your singing's really good, but your playing shitty, or your playing is really good, but your singing is shitty. I can't do both at the same time. So I was lead singer, Luke was drummer, and we had a guitarist. His name was Zach, and we had band practice, and it's like, Zach, you know, why don't you stay the night? We'll all play video games, stay up late, and chill out in my room. And I had a couch in my room, so Zach could sleep on the couch. Luke could sleep in his room or the floor. I could sleep on the bed, you know. So we were kind of having like a guys' night, just chilling after band practice and just having a good time, you know, chilling out. I got tired, so I was kind of being the party pooper, and I was like, I'm going to bed. And I was like, honestly, as weird as it sounds, like, I don't like to go to sleep alone. Like, I like people around me. I like to be in the comfort around people. As weird as that sounds, like, I don't mind people doing things around me. I like noise while I sleep. I don't like it completely silent. So they were stayed up and they were watching TV, and I don't know, they said they got real creeped out because I was asleep by now. So first of all, let me start it like this. Like, I was asleep, and I woke up the next morning and was all alone in the room. And I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on? So I got up and I went to my brother's room, and they're both in there sleeping. And I woke them up and was like, why'd y'all leave? And he said, dude, some crazy shit happened last night, man. I was like, okay, like, what's up? Tell me about it. He said they were basically staying up and watching TV and or playing video games, something along those lines. Or just sitting there talking and the TV was on. And he said all of a sudden the TV just started shifting colors, like green. The whole screen would turn green, and then red, and then yellow, and then blue, purple. And it was shifting through colors. And he said that like an orb basically flew out of the bathroom door, spun in a circle above them, and then flew through the wall into my brother Luke's room. And they said it freaked them out, and they got the fuck out of there and went to go sleep in their room. And basically the motherfuckers left me to sleep in my room alone after having this experience. I was like, thanks guys. And then I couldn't help but point out, I was like, okay, for one, thanks for leaving me in a room that, you know, could possibly be having some paranormal activity. And second off, why did you flee from my room to the room where the orb went through the wall into your room? And they're like, oh, they pulled like one of them stoner moments, like, well, we didn't think about that. I was like, yeah, that don't make much sense, man. But that was pretty crazy. Now I did have, I'm going to go ahead and get into this too, because I did have two more weird experiences in that room. Now these ones I'm going to kind of lump together because, like I said, I try to keep a skeptical point of view. Now me and my wife, we do have a ghost hunting team. It's called Spectre. Just recently we've had another person join us, and we've invited them to come out on other ghost hunts with us. So it'll be cool, I mean, to have another person on the team, you know. So that's something we've been trying to push forward, is kind of let it grow some more, grow in membership, and maybe get some t-shirts going, some badges, some little meetings and shit like that, kind of like a little group we could get going, you know. But me and my wife do amateur ghost hunting, and we always come in with a skeptical point of view. And I don't think a lot of people do that with ghost hunting. And I know a lot of these ghost hunting channels, I know of one for a fact that is fake as hell. And I know just because one of my buddies knows the guy who runs the channel and has literally talked to him man to man, and the guy's admitted that it's fake bullshit. I am not going to come out and expose the dude because my buddy knows him and I don't want to get my buddy in trouble, but otherwise I'd have no problem just telling you who the fake fucker is. But I don't know, it pisses me off as a ghost hunter because, like, my channel, and it's not jealousy. A lot of people, I'm sure, in the comments are going to say it's jealousy, but it's not jealousy that I'm mad that someone else's channel blew up. I'm mad that someone else's channel blew up because it's fake. That's what aggravates me. And the reason why I truly believe that our channel has not blown up, we have literally like 20 different ghost hunting videos on the channel. As far as I know, I mean, I might have to recheck the numbers, but even if it's not 20, there's at least like 10 different ghost hunting videos on the channel. I might be thinking of the occult item videos. I have a bunch of videos. It's hard to keep up with them all. But I mean, I've been on here for 3 years, and we only just broke 100 subscribers, and it's a little discouraging because it aggravates me as a ghost hunter that the reason our channel hasn't blown up and the reason why we're not known as ghost hunters is because we don't really find a whole lot of evidence. We've got pictures of orbs. We've caught audio EVP of whispers. That's about it. We really haven't found too much. We've gotten responses off of dowsing rods and Ouija boards and stuff like that, but we haven't really caught a whole lot of actual evidence. And I think that people watch our ghost hunting videos and they get bored. But to me, I would rather you watch a ghost hunting video and get bored and know that it's real than me lie to you. I could lie to you. Me and my wife could start a channel under a different name, a brand new channel, and make nothing but fake ghost hunting videos, and it blow up, and me get monetized, and make money off of lying to you. But I'm not going to do that. Sorry I went on that little rant. That's just something that bugs me, and something that I wanted to talk about, you know. So I mean, the reason I was saying that a whole little rant right there was basically trying to reiterate that me and my wife are ghost hunters. Yes, we're ghost hunters. And the first response we usually get from people is, oh, so you're kooks. You believe that everywhere is haunted. You believe that there's ghosts everywhere. And no, we don't believe that. We actually go in with a super skeptical point of view. I would say even more skeptical than Ed and Lorraine Warren. So I'm reminding you that I'm a skeptic because I had 2 experiences in this room that I truly believe I could write off as scientifically explained. One of the experiences I had was I woke up in the middle of the night, and we always kept our doors open during the winter because the summers in this house are super hot and the winters are super cold because it's an old house. It's 2-story. It's really hard to heat and cool. So I would leave the door open during the winter so I could get heat. And I woke up in the middle of the night and looked at the foot of my bed where the door's open and looked at the door, and I seen this old man pretty much just like creep on by, and he was definitely a specter. He looked like, you could tell it was an old bald chubby man with a cane who had glasses, but you could tell he was like a ghost, like a typical ghost you would see on a movie. Like he was gray and see-through, kind of misty. But he walked by real slow, peeked his head in the room, and then kept walking. Kind of like, and I take this into account that the house used to be a hospital, so it was kind of like he was like walking by, like, oh, maybe my granddaughter or my daughter's in here. He looked in, was like, nope, not there, and then kept walking. So that was kind of weird. The reason why I don't fully believe that it was paranormal was just because I have to take into account from a skeptical point of view that a lot of people see things when they first wake up. Because you have that sudden jolt of your nervous system switching over from dream mode to awake mode. So a lot of people, when they first wake up, they might still be dreaming for a couple of seconds. And I did kind of just wake up, see it, and just rolled over and went right back to sleep. And I've been listening to a lot of this other podcast, so a shout out to them. If they ever hear this, a shout out to them. But Strange Familiars. So check them out if you haven't. It's not bad. It's a decent podcast. My personal opinion, the guy's voice kind of puts me to sleep a little bit. Like, it's super soothing. But I mean, the stories and stuff that he has on there are really good. The interviews he has are awesome. It's a excellent channel. So I hope if they do hear it, they don't think I'm hating on them. I'm actually shouting y'all out, and I would like to perhaps do an interview or something with them, you know. Sadly, where this is a smaller channel, I doubt really I'll have much interviews except for with interviews that I set up with locals and stuff like that, just because we're nobodies. But on his podcast, Strange Familiars, he has noticed that there's a reoccurring theme of people waking up, seeing things, having abduction experiences, paranormal experiences, and going right back to bed. Almost like an overwhelming sensation of slumber, like they can't stay awake. So that's definitely a reoccurring theme that he's noticed, and it kind of explained what happened with me. You know, like I said, I'm kind of 50-50 on it. I do point out the more skeptical point of view when I'm talking to you as the listener. My personal feelings, it could have been paranormal, but that's my personal spirituality and my personal spiritual journey. I'm not going to force that on anyone. And I don't want you to believe me just because I spiritually feel something. I don't ever want you to believe me because I spiritually believe something. I want you to look at evidence and be more skeptical. I want you to be skeptical even of me. And that's another thing that you won't hear these other ghost hunting channels say. I want you to question me. I want you to comment in the comment section questioning me. I'm not going to get mad. I'm not going to freak out. I just want you to question for yourself in general. Now, the other experience I had was I had a night terror, and it was the first and only, knock on wood, night terror that I've had. I don't know if anyone's ever experienced one. Hit me up in the comments and let me know, because I like to hear stories and stuff about it. But it was pretty freaky. Like, I woke up and it felt like the room was super hot. Like, it felt like a furnace in there. And I was having some dream about hell or something, or demons or something. And I just woke up and could not move. I just opened my eyes and it freaked me out because I couldn't move. It was like I was paralyzed. I didn't see anything. I just felt overwhelming fear. I felt sweat pouring off of me. Like, it felt like I woke up and I was in hell. That could have been paranormal, but once again, it's one of those things. Night terrors can be explained away with science, you know. So take it with a grain of salt. Now, let's see, where am I at? I'm going through my notes, so I'm kind of deleting stuff here and there, what I've already talked about, what I've already covered. Now, there's another story that I have to share that was pretty crazy. I eventually moved from the bottom room to the upstairs bedroom, which was I shared a wall with my mom. Her room, she became my neighbor at that point. And I had a crazy experience one night. I had went upstairs to basically be a party pooper and go to sleep early again. I don't know why, man. I must have been like smoking a lot of weed or playing around with drugs a lot, because a lot of these stories, I'm just going upstairs and going to sleep or going to bed early. But I went upstairs to go to basically go to bed early. It was like only like 7 or 8 o'clock at night. The sun had just set, and my brother had borrowed a bag of chips earlier that night and was eating on some. He's like, "Hey, can I have some chips?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't care. Go for it, dude." So he was eating a bag of chips earlier that day, and I went to bed and was uh, basically like just going to sleep. And he was finished eating whatever he was eating, and he was coming upstairs to return the bag of chips. And I had just started falling asleep, so I was just getting into that like dream state. And I woke up, and he had woke me up because he's like, "Hey man, I'm just returning this bag of chips." And I woke up, and from what I saw in my mind, I didn't even hear him, I didn't even see him. From what I saw in my mind, I opened my eyes, and it looked like a figure was laying a white sheet over my body that was laying down. It was like a doctor laying a white sheet over me like I was dead. And it freaked me the fuck out because knowing that it used to be a hospital, I don't know, it just two and two clicked, and I instantly just freaked the fuck out. Like, did I die in my sleep, and my spirit is seeing me get a white sheet put over me? And so I jumped up and just started screaming and running full blast straight out of sleep. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? And pardon my French. Like I said, I don't censor this channel. Fuck censorship, honestly. And honestly, I kind of think people are pussying out when they censor themselves just so they can get monetization. So, I don't know. I'm a little more punk rock than that. But yeah, I was basically cussing up a storm, and I ran full blast towards the door. And my door was right next to the stairwell, so my little brother runs down the stairs and basically falls down the stairs because he thinks I'm going to like kill him. He thinks I'm like pissed because he was eating my chips and was like had a mood swing and was trying to kill him. And I ran into my mom's room, and I'm like, "I don't know what the fuck. There's someone in my room. There's someone in my room. There's someone in my room." And she goes in there and looks, and there's no one in the room, and we checked the whole house, and I was just like, "Sorry guys, I don't know. I just described what I had seen," and they were both laughing, and I just went back to sleep after that. But I thought that was wild. Now my mom's personal opinion is that it's whoever haunts the house is a man. She kind of believes that it's like a guardian spirit. Not a guardian angel, but like whoever the ghost is who haunts the house is a protector of her. She thinks that the ghost kind of had like a little crush on her and just kind of protects her. Because she was dating this guy named David at the time, and her and him used to argue quite a bit actually because of finances and stuff, and that's a whole nother story, perhaps a whole nother podcast on that whole story of David. He pretty much was a con artist that ended up fucking up my life at the moment. That's a whole nother podcast for another day. She'd probably get mad if I post it, but I really don't give a damn. The truth hurts. Sadly, people cannot handle the truth, and my channel is about, this is my channel, man, about my life and my experiences. And if I ever put out a podcast on that part of my life, honestly, she can get over it. Don't really care. But she used to argue with him a lot, and one day she told him, she said, "You know, you keep being mean to me. These ghosts here protect me." And he's like, "Oh, shut the fuck up. You're crazy." I don't believe you. And as soon as like she threatened him, she's like, okay, watch them start doing mean stuff to you, and watch them protect me. And as soon as she said that, like a picture like fell off the wall and landed on the floor. And he pretty much like freaked out and stopped arguing with her. Um, Later on, he said that he was creeped out being alone in the house because he felt like something was watching him and didn't like him. And I don't know, the motherfucker kind of deserved it though. For one, like, you're stealing money from my mom and you're fighting with her about it. Like, I don't know, he was just a POS. But that was a paranormal experience she had. Um, I'm going to go ahead and tell you the last and final paranormal experience that me and my ex-wife had in the house. I wanted to comprise all of these into this one podcast episode because I knew that it would fill up a whole episode on its own. And it's at the 40-minute mark, so it paced out perfectly. But me and my ex-wife were dating at the time, and we both lived at my mom's house. We ended up moving back into my ex-wife's father's house later on. That's connected with the whole David con artist story. That's a story for another day. If I got into it, I would this podcast would probably be like an extra hour long, if not hour and a half long. But basically, we were staying there at the time, and my mom does home daycare, so she, for some reason, had to go out and do something. And so me and my ex-wife, Dina, we had to watch one of the kids for her. So it was just a little boy we were watching for the afternoon. And we're like, yeah, that's fine. I mean, we're staying at your house rent-free. We helped pay bills here and there, but yeah, we don't care to, watch the kid for you. So she went out and did her errands, and we were watching the kid. And he was in the other room playing, and we were just kind of in the living room watching TV. And he walks into the room and goes, where's that girl at? And me and Dina just look at each other like, who are you talking about? Like, what girl? She said, oh, that girl that's been playing with me. And me and her just started, like, we're like freaked out. Like, what are you talking about? She's like, well, here, I'll show you. So we walk upstairs and we don't really see anyone. And by the way, I don't know, I think I remember my little brother telling me something about a little girl, like a girl ghost that he's seen in a blue dress that used to walk around the house up the stairs and stuff. My older brother, he's said a couple times that he's heard walking around upstairs and coughing and stuff when no one was there. So I don't know. But the girl ghost has been brought up a couple times. And so we walk back downstairs and we're like, well, like show us where she's at. And he's like, he walks into the daycare room and he's like, well, she walked in here and she was talking to me and playing with me, and then she said that I gotta go, and she walked away and walked up the stairs. And we were asking him, like, what did she look like? And he's like, oh, she had like a blue dress on, and she was like older, like a teenager, and she just talked to me. She was really nice, and she just left. And I don't know, I'm getting cold chills again, goosebumps. But me and Dina, we just we're like, wow, that was fucking crazy. We told my mom what happened, and I don't know, that was definitely a crazy experience. But that's about it as far as like ghost stories of my mom's house. I'm gonna kind of end it with like a theory, actually, because a lot of people who keep up with my channel, they know that I study the occult, I study the paranormal. I'm into all that weird stuff, dude. I'm a weirdo, you know. Um, and I got to studying this island over in Greece, I believe. It was like some island. It had a lot of vampire lore, legends there, a lot of paranormal legends, and on this island, everyone has a blue roof. And what they believe is that a white house with a blue roof keeps away ghosts and demons and vampires and shit. And the weirdest thing, it could be coincidence, but my mom painted her roof blue and she has a white house, and it seems like as soon as she did that like all the paranormal stuff stopped. And I don't know. Could be coincidence. It's just a little theory I'm throwing out there. I mean, this is Conspiracy Corner podcast, so theories are what we do, conspiracy theories. Let me know in the comments if you've ever heard about that. The theory that if you paint your roof blue, it kind of helps exorcise a house. But yeah, that's all I got for you all, and I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you for listening. I would like to reiterate this. Please, please, please like and share. Please, if you can share, that would be awesome. I'm trying to get my subscribers up. I'm trying to get, more subs and more fans. And please comment. Definitely comment, because I love talking to you all. And you all have a good day.